Welcome back to another episode of Getting Down with the Browns.
Let's go, baby!
And we have a very special guest today. We got Ali Hysong from the Here We Go Brownies
Thanks for
podcast.
having me. Happy to be here. This is awesome.
Let's go. So thankful that you decided to join us on our
anytime.
Thursdays. Oh man,
You guys are awesome. Like I told I was like anytime. I like anytime I get to get behind a microphone, talk a little football, have a little fun. It's a win for me. I enjoy
let's go.
So let's so just give a little shout out to your podcast real quick. Let's hear it.
Yeah, you can find us. It's the Here We Go Brownies podcast. It's a show by the fans, for the fans, coming at all Browns perspective. We've got Bernie Kosar live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you stick around for that. But you can find us on Facebook, the Here We Go Brownies podcast, Apple, Spotify, or on Twitter at Go Brownies Live.
Let's go. Dude, that's so hot.
That is so awesome. Bernie Kosar, man, oh man, that's going to be an awesome show. Are you excited for that?
I am so pumped up. He's awesome, first and foremost. So just really excited to talk to him and get his perspective. You know, there's a lot going on with this organization, and to get that perspective from a former player, I think it's just invaluable.
Absolutely. It's gonna be it is gonna be such a fun episode. Please, everybody, tune in. That's at 8:00 tonight too. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be so awesome. So
here there.
Yes, absolutely. That's gonna be so cool. Jam-packed evening for you. So we're obviously there is a fantastic, very exciting football game that is going on for the Cleveland Browns this Sunday. There's been trash talk all week long about it. I mean, Twitter Spaces on Twitter, on Facebook with friends, family, and it's just something special about the Battle of Ohio. I just kind of want to off the cuff. I didn't even, have this question ready, but I'll let Christian go first, and then Ali, you can go. Just talk a little bit about what the Battle of Ohio means to just you or like people in general that live in this state. Why is it so big? Just for in general. Go ahead.
First off, we all know it's not really the Battle of Ohio. Cincinnati is in Kentucky. We all know that. Northern Kentucky. We don't claim it down here in my part. But, right here, I got this Papa John's box. You see this? You see what it says? Papa? Because we're the daddy of the Cincinnati Bengals. I said the wrong team. I'm just so amped right now. Joe Burrow, don't matter. He sucks against Cleveland. Let's be real. Miles carries him around in a baby carriage all game long. Better ingredients, better pizza, better football belongs in Cleveland, baby. Let's go. That's all I got to say about it.
I don't, Ali. That's.
I'm not sure I can top that.
Yeah.
No, look. Here's the thing. It's so exciting. This is one of the matchups I look forward to every single year. Even when the Browns are bad or the Bengals are bad, this is just one of those games because it's the Battle of Ohio. And even though it's really not, Cincinnati's in Kentucky. I agree with you. But at the end of the day, it is. I've got a lot of family and friends that are Bengals fans that grow up in that area or in the Columbus area, that's kind of split. So there's a lot of, rivalry amongst family and friends. So anytime I get to talk a little smack, maybe place a couple bets, it's a win for me. I really enjoy it.
Let's go. I think, and honestly, in my opinion too, what's something so special about it is because I think having just everybody from the same state. Obviously, there's going to be family, friends that just kind of love to get into that trash talk feeling. Obviously, Cleveland and Pittsburgh are very close distances as well, but there's just something about being in the same state. And it seems like for every other sport as well, everybody loves the same team. So it's like, the Cleveland Cavaliers or, I think Ohio State, obviously baseball is just different because they have the Cincinnati Reds down there, but they're not very good. But so I think it's just a lot of things that all together just makes this game so much more fun. And if we're honest with each other, like I think I didn't want to say this, but I waited until the pod to say it because it's something that I think is very true and needs to be said. I think what's very special about this game as of recently, right? We've won 8 out of the last 9, but something that's so interesting that I don't think a lot of people talk about, and because honestly, I don't know why, but I think that the psychological aspect is such a huge part to play in this because look, the Cincinnati Bengals just have been, their recent success is fantastic, and they're doing really good things. They just win the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, like just the connection's insane. The best wide receiving core in the NFL. But it's something about playing the Cleveland Browns that they just cannot get over. Whether it's, Joe Burrow, the first time, I think he threw like 60 plus passes, didn't win, threw 40 plus passes, didn't win, tried to make it a little bit lower, didn't win. It's just like, out of all the teams, they just can't beat Cleveland. And as Browns fans, I think it's one of those things where you're like, all right, yeah, you can go to the Super Bowl, but when you play us, it just seems like you just get completely destroyed. Like, and it's just it's fun in that way. Would you guys agree that it's kind of fun it's just like, all right, well, we kind of have that bragging right against it. When it's head to head, you guys just can't win.
For sure.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is the way that it is, but I love it.
Yes.
Some teams just have other teams' number, and for the longest time, you could say that Ohio State had Michigan's number.
Yes.
For our recent memory with the Cleveland Browns, you can say they have the Bengals number, but at any point that can change, and it can happen abruptly. So I think you kind of have to take that a little bit with a grain of salt, just because this is an incredibly talented football team down in Cincinnati. Not only Joe Burrow, but if you look at all their skill position players, they're getting Jamar Chase back. Defensively, they're pretty good. I wouldn't say that they're an elite defensive team, but they've got some dudes. Where they rank, this is just a really good football team, they seem to have Kansas City, their number. For us, we've got their number, so that can change on a dime. So I don't know, kind of taking it a little bit with a grain of salt, but for whatever reason, Browns do.
It's what do you think? What do you, Christian? What are your ideas? Why is it like that? Why is
me to tell you?
Go ahead.
Kevin Stefanski hates cats.
Yes.
Go look at his record. He's undefeated. It don't matter what type of cat it is. It could be a cougar. It don't matter. He's
Jaguars,
getting a dub.
Lions. Yeah.
It's a dub.
Yeah, he has not. That is a very interesting fact, because it is
another
true.
Thing.
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski's undefeated against.
It don't matter who the quarterback is. He's won with 3 different quarterbacks against Cincinnati.
That's very true.
Brissett, 6, and Case Keenum.
Yeah. So it's 4, and Case Keenum too. So it's like it's kind of one of those weird things. It's like, man, oh man. But honestly, what worries me a little bit is the fact that anytime there's a trend or a streak or anything, like Tom Brady was 281-0 when he's leading in the 4th or something like that, when there's like 5 minutes left, or something crazy like that, or 2 minutes left, and now he finally lost to us, which it's crazy to be on the positive side of a record if you're a Browns fan. But it's like, does it concern any of you that just trend wise, like streak wise, before we talk football here, like just trend wise, where it's like, okay, we've won, Joe Burrow has not beaten us. He's 0-4 against the Browns in his career, but one of these times he's got to pull away with a win. And I hate to have that win now, because honestly, there's still a path that the Browns can make the playoffs, and we'll get into a little bit of that later on. But it's just, is it concerning? What are before, we're not going to get any score predictions, but is this game a little bit more concerning than previous times that the Browns have played the Bengals for you guys, or
no? Yeah, a little bit. One, because I think that the Bengals are hitting their stride at the right time.
Yes.
This is a team that was sleepy at the beginning of the season, and I think we all kind of predicted that the Bengals would have some type of Super Bowl hangover, even though they didn't come away with a win in that game. Still a highly emotional, competitive game. Have a little bit of a sleepy start, which they did, but they're getting hot at the right time. And typically teams that make a very deep postseason run get hot now. So I am a little bit concerned at that. And obviously, given what we saw last week, doesn't make you feel exactly great from an offensive firepower situation going up against a pretty darn good football team. Do I think that Deshaun Watson is going to bounce back? Yes. I think you just have to have game reps. He was in obviously a really weird situation, kind of unprecedented, out 700 days essentially, and then coming in and playing some football. He's going to have some rust on him. Now's prime time for him to shed it, but in the event that he doesn't, look, it can be pretty concerning for your Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and Drew had a comment. What's up, everyone?
Andrew,
What's up,
what's up?
Drew?
How we doing? How we doing? How we doing?
Heck yeah.
Go ahead, Christian. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna do that. You can go
Sounds good.
ahead.
I thought you wanted to say something, but I think that's honestly like you touched on a fantastic point, Ali. I think in this game, the thing that I'm really stressed about is because the Cincinnati Bengals look like, man, oh man, they really wanted to beat Kansas City. Everybody's talking about this matchup with Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, and last year the Bengals were 2-0 against them, and the whole AFC playoff game. And it's like it for me, it's like, man, they definitely won 4 straight. But at the same time, I can make the argument. It's like, okay, you beat the Steelers and who we already beat already, and it's like I think it was the Panthers that they played that we already beat already, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, they beat the Titans and the Chiefs, but they're not on our schedule, so it's hard to say.
What's up, MC?
MC, what's good? What's good? How we doing? So it's like it's one of those things where you have to take a deep breath and kind of just trust Kevin Stefanski and this football team and trust the confidence that comes along with this. So there's 2 questions that I want to get into. Deshaun Watson, what are the expectations after the last game? Ali, you touched on it a little bit. And 2, I do want to get into the whole, well, they didn't have Jamar Chase last game, but we also didn't have Denzel Ward, and it was on site, you know what I mean? Things like that. I do want to get into that a little bit, but going into this game, like, what are the expectations? I know, Ali, you already touched on it a little bit. Christian, I'll let you go first, and then Ali, you can go. What are some of the expectations that you have for Deshaun Watson? Was it rust? Was it just opening the playbook slowly versus Houston?
Mhm.
Was it actually a bad game? So what's some of the expectations going into Cincinnati?
So I think some of the expectations, I don't think we should put it all on Deshaun like we did kind of last week. Like, even me, I kind of bought into it. Like, oh, Deshaun's gonna come out here and ball out, man. He's
Yes.
ready. He's
Yes.
ready. He's ready. And like, I think our expectations should be dampened a little bit. I would say about 200 to 215 yardage and a touchdown or 2. Like, I would say this game's more on the O-line protecting him when he is throwing the football, and Nicholas Jamal Chubb. That's who I think is going to win this game for us, is going to be Nick Chubb, because he always shows out against the Bengals.
Yes.
It don't matter. He's going to average 5 yards a carry.
Yes.
So,
Ali, what are some of the things that you're thinking about?
So before I get into Deshaun here, Nick Chubb, you had it. He's had 100 or more rushing yards and 2 or more touchdowns in 3 straight games against Cincinnati. And again, all of those were wins. So yes, Nicholas Jamal Chubb, he is the guy, but I completely agree with you. It comes down to the offensive line. Look, I don't think that they've been playing their best football. I think our expectations may have been a little bit skewed coming into this because of some of the names you have on that offensive line, but they battled through some injuries. They've had some, tough situations. Jed Wills hasn't been playing his best ball. So you have a couple of things here and there, and you have the devastating injuries at center, like just some things that are going to throw off the chemistry of that line that I think play a big part in some of the offensive struggles. But as it pertains to Deshaun Watson, like, I don't think anybody should have the expectation that he's going to go and throw for, 500 yards, because it's just not going to happen. I think that slowly you open up the playbook, but I'm also of the belief that Kevin Stefanski isn't going to open up the playbook tremendously for Deshaun Watson this season. Look, I think that you take a look at what he does well, the RPOs, run action, play action concepts, even empty sets. You're going to see an uptick in those concepts rather than a big a big expansion of the playbook, because not only will that impact the skill position players, but also the offensive line, which, by the way, have struggled a little bit. So I think you kind of taper it down a little bit. You'll probably see him running a little bit more, maybe feeling a little bit more confident, shaking some of those first game reps off, the rust a little bit. So I think he'll have a better game. But to say he's going to go out there and be, an MVP caliber player this early, no, it's just not. I don't think that's practical.
Well, and he even said in a press conference today, he was like, going back to Houston, seeing everybody there, it kind of, he said he was human. He was thinking, he had a lot on his mind just being in Houston. So I get that. But go ahead, Manny. My bad, I cut you off.
Oh no! You can continue.
Oh, my bad. That was where I was going to end. But Ian Coltrane has dropped in the chat. He said Watson's going to be hitting the gritty.
in the end zone.
If he
He's
hits the
gonna
gritty,
score.
bro. If he hits the
Bro, that
gritty.
would be crazy. That would be so crazy. I think, I was thinking about this game, and honestly, when I was watching Houston last week, because I wasn't on the show Monday, so I'm just gonna be giving some quick just recaps of what I was thinking about, and now that I've had a long enough time to digest it, I was watching it, and not once did I think that we were going to lose that game, even when we were down 5-0, which was a weird score to be down by in the first place. I wasn't concerned. Even when they pinned it back in the one, under the one again, I still wasn't concerned at all. I was like, Houston, and nothing against Houston, but I truly believe that's probably how other teams thought about us back in like 2018, 2017. Houston is just such a bad team. I texted you, Christian. I was like, and Matty G was talking about, like,
oh my gosh, Matty G said the game was over when
the
it
game
was
was
5-0.
over.
He goes, "It's over." He said, "Just
like, no." I told you beforehand, even last Thursday, I was like, I've never been more confident in a win in my entire life for the Cleveland Browns than I was in that game, and it's something about that game. So whatever, but the play calling I felt was so like.
dial back.
Yeah, it really was. And when we were up late in the game, what I expected Kevin Stefanski to do was open up that playbook just a little bit, give a couple of deep shots, I think that's what I really truly expected. But it's unfortunate that it didn't happen that way, because I would have loved to see Deshaun just wind up and take a shot downfield. I don't know, but I guess to run the ball, I guess kind of like he just wanted to run the clock out and get out of Houston and get out with your dub and then leave. So
we saw that defense play at a level I've not seen them play this whole year. I mean, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Tony Fields with the pick six. And I mean, it was gifted to him,
Yeah.
Chase Winovich with the smack, and he caught it and took it to the crib.
Yeah.
But, how confident are you guys in Tony Fields filling in for Taki, who went down?
If you shout out to Browns fan 33, he's with the laughing face emojis on Twitter. But first and foremost, Tony Fields. If Tony Fields didn't have the game he had in Houston on Sunday, I would be very, very, very concerned. But the fact that he even touched the end zone as well, had a great game and got into the end zone, threw a ball to his dad, who they had a video of his dad jumping 3 rows of seats, doing a front flip and almost breaking his neck for that football. What a wonderful moment. But the fact that Tony Fields is walking around the campus right now in practice, kind of like with his chest puffed out, like, I scored a touchdown. Like, I was one of the reasons why we didn't need an offensive touchdown. I think that that's great for him, because it doesn't, going into the Cincinnati game, you need that confidence, coupled with the fact that, hey, everybody around you knows they play better when Cincinnati's in town. Miles shows up and everything. It's like, I feel a little bit more confident in Tony Fields, although technically at this point, he's like our 3rd string middle linebacker. Like, you know what I mean? Because and Anthony Walker. So, like, it's like, I mean, man, oh man. But his name is out there and people now know. So do you guys agree or are still a little bit worried?
Well, I think it's fair to say that losing Sione Takitaki is a huge blow, devastating blow, but at the same time feeling confident in somebody like Tony Fields. Now, I agree entirely. Him getting into the end zone and having the game that he did was huge for him as a player.
Yes.
But also understanding, he's been around. He hasn't played a ton, but I don't know that I want to say he's comfortable in this defensive scheme, but he's had time. He's been in these rooms. He's been in these meetings. He's been with these vets. So to say it's just like signing somebody off the street and throwing him in, no. I feel much better that it's Tony Fields than it's Ali Hysong, playing middle linebacker.
That's true. I want to ask a quick question. If there's a player like well, Christian, go ahead. Did you want to answer that? How do you feel about Tony Fields, really quickly? I'm
hyped, bro. He had 2 turnovers. He had 2 turnovers in his PFF grade, bro, out of the roof.
Was it? What was it? What
it was like it was 83, I believe, or 81 to 83. I mean, that's impressive for a guy just to come off the bench, get subbed in, and then go off like that. I mean, I'm fine with Tony Fields. Let's go.
That's actually kind of hype. I think I want your guys' opinion on the spot, and it's kind of on the spot, and that's perfectly fine. But like, I think, who is the one person on Cincinnati's team that you think the Browns need to stop to get this win? Is it a get pressure on Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow is the guy that's most important. Is it Jamar Chase coming back because he just came back off of injury and had 97 yards? Is it those supporting cast members? And I know Bengals fans might not like that word for T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, but Hayden Hurst is not going to be there. Joe Mixon is activated, so he'll be playing. Or is it somebody on the defensive side of the ball? Is it is it DJ Reader? What is exactly? Is there somebody that you think is going to show out for this game, or you're really worried about? Who you're most worried about is my question, I guess. Go ahead, Christian. You go first. And then Ali can go. Yep.
Okay. I would say Jamar, because that offense just looks so much better with Jamar out there. Because you can throw a ball to him 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and it could be at the 5. He could catch it in the end zone, and he could take it to the other end zone. Like honestly, he'll be the best receiver in the league here in about 3 years.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
But if Denzel Ward can have the game he did last year in Cincinnati this year, I think we'll be sitting pretty. I think we'll be talking about this on Monday as a dub.
Ali, I like what you're saying, Ali. What do you think?
Yeah, so totally agree. He can and will, burn you to hell. Like, that's just who he is.
Yeah.
So most definitely. But I'm going to go in a little bit of a different direction here. And I'm going to say you have to worry about Joe Mixon, but my guy, Samaje Perine, he's been nuts the past couple of weeks. And historically, this Browns run defense, even though they kind of have put it together over the past couple of weeks, it's not been good over the consistency of this season, and that scares the living daylights out of me. Am I totally afraid of Joe Mixon? No, not really. Am I afraid of Perine? No, not entirely. I think that we've certainly faced better running backs. But look, they're a pretty darn good duo, and we're a pretty not great run defense. So that's my big
Yeah.
We're giving up yards. We're giving up season highs to Chargers and Texans and Falcons, and they're running all over us like crazy. Brownie 33-0 reminded us that we just signed Reggie Ragland, linebacker, coming over. He had spent some time with the Giants and the Chiefs as well, so that's a great pickup, especially with the injuries. So I truly agree that backfield is going to be a problem, especially because a lot of people say, hey, they couldn't stop Austin Eckler. They couldn't stop XFL running backs that were in Atlanta. They couldn't stop Damian Pierce.
Yeah.
Like, it's the key to winning the football game is to run. And last time they played us, they only ran the ball 8 times. So they're like, why on earth did we not run? I was even surprised that we did not run. Miami knew that they probably should run because we thought they were going to go out there and pass the ball all over the place. No, they used Raheem Moisture and just ran all over us. So I think that the Bengals are going to come in here and try to run the ball against us. So that's the biggest concern. I agree, Ali. I think like that backfield of the Cincinnati Bengals is what I think is the biggest part. Actually, I want Joe Burrow to throw. I would rather be beat like that than have them come right out and then Perine and Mixon combined for 150 plus and 2 touchdowns and they break 40 yards. I don't want to lose that way. It was demoralizing to lose to Miami by running. They're like, you can't even handle our biggest weapons. You can't even handle the way we usually win games. We're just going to literally hand the ball off and then magically that's it. We're going to get out of here. And that hurt my soul. And I just don't want that to happen. So, that's kind of exactly how I'm feeling about that situation. But my second question is, what do you expect out of Jamar Chase in this game matchup with Denzel Ward? Because again, all offseason it was on site, it was this or the other, but both of them had injuries and couldn't play the first time. But now they get a chance to match up against each other. Do you think that Denzel Ward will be able to show out again? And then I have a follow-up question for that, which might be really controversial, but that's very controversial. But Ali, you can go first, and then Christian. What do you make of this matchup, part 2, Jamar Chase and Denzel Ward?
I love the matchup, and I like our chances, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, you've got the talent of Denzel Ward, which is, he's one of the top defensive backs in the league when he's healthy and playing some of his best ball. But my philosophy is more so based on the success of Martin Emerson Jr. and Greg Newsome, the way that they've been playing. Well, because you can rely on them to cover the supporting cast members, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, so on and so forth. then you can allow Denzel to do the things that Denzel's going to do. Where you haven't thrived in the past is when Denzel is maybe asked to do a little bit too much, or the defensive support cast members aren't doing their jobs. Everybody's out of sync. If this team can communicate no blown coverages and play the way that we know that they can, absolutely 100%. I like our chances all day on that.
Go ahead, Christian. What do you think? I completely agree. I completely agree, Ali.
She pretty much said everything perfectly there. Like, I mean, if them boys over on the other side, Newsome and MJ, if they're locking down and letting Ward do his thing, I mean, it's gonna be cheesecake. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think honestly. So here's my hot topic question. I have to take a deep breath. So I think that Denzel Ward, in my opinion, and please, I could be wrong. I think I could be wrong. But if Denzel Ward does not show up in this game where all the pressure is on him, Jamar Chase has had him circled and knows in the back of his head, this is the one guy last year, the one individual that locked me up, the only one that I can say the entire season that held me, rendered almost useless, and had the iconic, interception on the opening drive. So if Denzel Ward gets just 2 touchdowns scored on him or whatever the case may be, I was having this conversation in Twitter Spaces, and maybe that's why I probably should stop doing that, because it raises crazy questions. But should you look to move Denzel Ward short term, because it's like injuries are piling up and he doesn't show up all the time? You can get a great bargain for him. Andrew Berry knows how to draft corners. Martin Emerson and Greg Newsom. Yeah, I know you both are looking at me like I'm crazy, but I think and if you can't do the one, the reason we love Denzel Ward, not the reason we love Denzel Ward, but one of those things that we can hang over, their faces, say you can lock down one of the best wide receivers. And to your point, Christian, he's going to be the best wide receiver in the league very shortly here. I think it's like, if that was just a fluke the first time and you just get cooked again, it's like, man, oh man. I mean, at this point, I don't know. Am I giving up on Denzel too early or
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So bro, Denzel is him, man. Like, you put him on the market, bro, people are gonna be flocking. 31 teams will have offers for Denzel Ward in the matter of minutes.
Yeah.
Denzel Ward, he's not been playing well this year. He's been battling concussions pretty much the entire season, and then coming off the hamstring, because set him out the whole preseason. So I mean, coming into the year, he's getting his first snaps probably since earlier in the offseason, maybe even last year. Like, who knows what he did in the offseason. Right. But Denzel is him, man. Like, people be talking all that on Twitter and stuff. They just look at stats. They don't watch it, bro. People don't throw Denzel's way much. If he's in man-to-man coverage, they might if he's in zone. But if he's man-to-man, bro, they ain't throwing his way at all.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Here's my thought on this. Look, I get where you're coming from. And I don't think it's like that spicy of a topic. I really don't, because the injuries, you can't deny that. I won't say he's played his best year. I don't think he has, even when he is available. But if you look at, Chris, to your point, that most teams just don't throw at him. Yeah. Having him on the field, even when he's not playing his best football, will change the way that opposing offensive coordinators are going to game plan.
That's true.
So with having him on the field, and now you have a little bit more of a buffer in MJ and Greg Newsom, and even Grady. You've got some of these guys, and Grant Delpit's been playing fairly okay of late. You don't have to have the weight of the world on Denzel's shoulders. And I think that's when you're kind of teetering on that fine of a line is when you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And if you are good 90% of the time being Denzel Ward going up against opposing receivers, but there's that one player that gets you, and if that's Jamar Chase, it's Jamar Chase, the best receiver in the league. I think you can live with that. But if he can shut everybody else down, you feel pretty darn good about that being your franchise corner.
Yeah. True. And one thing about playing the cornerback position is, like, you can have a solid game, the entire game, 99% locked down, nothing's going on. Like, you could have 4 pass deflections, but if you have one catch on you, that's huge in the game. Just like late, bro, that's all people are going to be talking about. That's all they're going to scrutinize is that one play, and they're going to say, we overpaid, da-da-da-da-da. So that's why –
Yeah. That's very true.
So like it's just I don't know. Like I get what you're saying, Manny, but I don't know, man. Like we got to keep Denzel. We got to keep
Yeah,
him.
but that's what makes it. I just kind of I was thinking. I think I get excited about because you said it yourself. I mean, 31 teams would be knocking down like the
They
door.
would be, that TikTok where they got the debit card and they're just like hitting the table.
Yeah,
That would be that'd be the teams.
Like I think that's the case, but it's very intriguing because I think about the return that we would get for him. It's like, oh man, we could turn that into this, we could turn that into that. But then, there's also points to be made that if we keep him and we just work on our interior pass rush and we work on the defensive tackles, that might also help out Denzel Ward. I mean, and I think that like, I go in this weird kind of, I don't know. I'm normally optimistic, and I don't know why on earth I'm being so, hard on Denzel Ward, but it's like, it's just, man, I think
you're letting them Bengals fans talk to you too much, man. You're starting to listen to them. You're starting to hear that chatter. Gotta block it out.
If he locks down Jamar Chase again, I will say, man, I'll keep him just for that fact. I will just that's what I'll keep him for, and that's 100% the case. And I have one more question. I'm so sorry. I came in here with a bunch of questions. We didn't even have a long pre-show. It's just me out here just really, and that's kind of what this is for, honestly. I kind of like the sporadic. But if we lose this game on Sunday, is our season over? And I'm not even I like to sometimes talk a little bit extra to give you guys some time to think about it before, but at the same time, right now, I'm not going to. So Christian, go ahead.
It's over, man. It's over, man. Like you can't be going 5-8 and then expecting to make the playoffs. I mean, you win this game, not only does it bump you one game closer, you're now 3-1 in the division. With Baltimore coming to town the next week with a chance to be 4-1 in the division, making it 7-7. So if you can make it 6-7, then going into Baltimore, possibly without Lamar Jackson, I don't know, because he becomes Superman when he decides to play against the Browns for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason.
But yeah, you've got to win this. There's probably some stat if we do lose, like there's like 0.00002% chance we make the playoffs if everybody other teams lose games that like just I don't know, man. It's just you got to win this one. It's a must win.
You have to.
Yeah, it's over. If you lose this, it's over. Look, I like to think of myself as an eternal optimist, especially when it comes to Cleveland Brown. I'm always like trying to think of the positivity, but you could argue that this season was done after the Jets loss. That's really when it kind of went off the rails, and you just such a hole. And you could say that over the past couple of seasons that the Browns have just shot themselves in the foot so many times that they couldn't overcome it.
Yeah,
it wasn't a lack of talent. It really wasn't. It was coming here and there, and it's just it's done.
Yeah, it's for sure. What are your thoughts on that, Manny?
I think, I want to be, again, I want to be extremely optimistic, but if the Cleveland Browns do lose this game, I think that it is over. It's not for us as a fan base. I don't think that it's all a loss depending on how we lose, if that makes sense. Like if we get blown out and then Deshaun plays poorly again, it makes the season harder to watch. Now, obviously, after a week, we're going to still be, watching again versus Baltimore. It's division rival. It's going to be in Cleveland. It's going to be Tyler Huntley, presumably with Lamar Jackson. So I think that with Lamar Jackson out, I think that our season's basically going to be over. I think it's going to be like kind of seeing how we can get Deshaun in different situations where we can like get him comfortable with throwing the deep ball, being on the run, get creative. But then again, a part of me, I don't know, this is just me being candid and having an actual open heart moment. Like if we do win, it would be a little frustrating because it's like the chances of us winning out are so slim that it's like if we win again, a part of me is like, man, I really am going to be telling people that we have a chance to make the playoffs. And it's like,
Bro, don't give me hope, man. If they win this
you know what I
game
mean?
and we go in and we beat Baltimore and we go 7-7, I'm gonna be obnoxious. I'm gonna be joining those Twitter spaces you're in, bro, and I'm gonna be just rattling off nonsense.
It will look very scary if
No,
Pittsburgh beats Baltimore, then we beat Baltimore and beat Cincinnati. It will get a little bit like palms are sweaty, you know, mom spaghetti situation, because like
I'm
I will start kind of believing a little bit like, can
I'm
we
gonna be
keep
like
doing it?
Hawkeye in Endgame, bro. I'm gonna be like, don't give me hope.
Yeah, no,
Don't give me hope, because
again,
you'll give me a glimmer. I'm taking it to the Super Bowl, bro. I'm
and
gonna be talking Super Bowl.
yes,
I'm
well,
obnoxious like that, man.
and one of the things that I'm just gonna kind of throw in there is like, well, you look at Baltimore because of the injury to Lamar Jackson, and it's literally the Baltimore Jacksons. Like I like literally he's their entire team. So he plays defense and punts and everything. But like I think that if they start to regress, and then Cincinnati with their hard schedule, they still got to play Buffalo, they still got to play Tom Brady. I don't think Tom Brady is gonna have one of his collapses like he did versus the Browns.
Yeah.
I think that he'll, he's going to start cooking it up. He's 3-1. So I think in the past 4 weeks. So
Got
I'm
a new
like,
girl.
yeah, he's got a new girl. So it's like I think in my head, it's kind of possible because our only route is to win the division, which we started off pretty well. Really, quite honestly, we're sitting really pretty. So it's
What's
like
Baltimore's division record? Are they still undefeated?
I think that they are undefeated because they play the Steelers twice. And they play us one more time. I think that they're undefeated.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah.
Well, I can look that up while you're giving your synopsis of how optimistic will you guys be later down the line. I don't know. Just there's a lot that needs to happen, right? Because we have to win the division. We can't win through the wild card because we lost to every single wild card team possible. I feel like so it's like anybody who's in the wild card we probably lost to. Patriots, Dolphins, Chargers, you name it. So I think. What's kind of your guys' outlook to be optimistic? Is there anything that you can say that can, bring some optimism to Browns fans? I'll let you go, Ali.
It's so funny because listen to us, we say, oh, if the Browns lose, the season's over, but if they win, we're going to the Super Bowl. Like we are
That's me. That's
dramatic.
Me.
But we all are. We all are. It's just what we do, and it's like what we're programmed to do. So it's hard. It's hard to be a Browns fan, but at the end of the day, I think just from an optimistic standpoint, even if the Browns don't win this game, and we're looking at the end of the season, the positivity there is, look, you've got Deshaun Watson for a few more games, then you can expand your playbook. You can get creative because who cares? You can lose those games. You can get creative. You can turn the ball over. I'm sure they don't want to do that, but you can't.
Yeah.
Afforded that. However, if they win, the optimism is obviously we've got a ton of hope. And if anybody can kind of rally around this team, it's us fans. It's easy for us to do.
Now, if Deshaun Watson goes into Cincinnati and balls out and just has like a game, I don't think he will. I'm not saying that this man's going to go in there and drop 4 touchdowns, 300 yards, 500 yards on the run, but if he has a game like Baker Mayfield did last year in Cincinnati or 2 years ago in Cincinnati, I'm gonna be obnoxious, man. It's gonna be. I'm gonna be posting pictures of Deshaun Watson all in them Bengals comments. Just him, just doing that, just holding the 4 up. That's all I'm gonna be. That's all I'm gonna be holding up.
You're gonna get blocked.
I'm gonna get blocked. The Cincinnati Bengals gonna have a warrant out for my arrest because I'm gonna be harassing all of the whatever they're called down there, all of the Fairweather fans they got, the Burrow Knights. That's what I call them.
The Burrow Knights. It's gonna be crazy. It is gonna be crazy.
MC with the hot
just in time. MC with the Browns 31, Bengals 27. MJ Emerson interception to seal the win on the final drive. I want to get everyone's predictions of this game. and kind of what they think is going to go down. And also to confirm, the Baltimore Ravens are undefeated in the division right now. So there's that. So we're going to need Baltimore to lose a lot of games, which luckily it seems like they will. So what's your expectations, Christian, and then Ali, and then I'll go.
So I think Myles Garrett's going to have 2 sacks on Burrow. One's going to be a strip sack at the end of the game. And I think somebody else is going to pick it up. You know who that is? Tony Fields. He's going to have another. Tony Fields is going to pick up the ball and take it into the end zone to make the score. Browns 935, Bengals 4.
Things you love to see. Look, for me, Nicholas Jamal Chubb, already talked about it. He's got 100 or more rushing yards and 2 or more touchdowns in 3 straight games against Cincinnati. That is going to be the case here. Last week, a lot of Kareem Hunt looked really good, giving the ball back to Nicholas Jamal Chubb in this one. Give me 2 touchdowns on the day for Nick Chubb. We get Njoku back. Give me 1 in the red zone for him. I like that. Defense wakes up. They get after Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow can navigate a pocket like anything you've ever seen, but Myles Garrett, I agree, Christian, 2 sacks on the day. Throw an interception in there. I'm going spicy.
Oh,
they play crazy. Give me an interception. Or a turnover. Let me some turnover.
going the spice.
Let's go. I first and foremost, that hyped me up. Okay, throw it in.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say I
turn him up.
You know what I did? I was at the grocery store for this game, and I preemptively. Thank you. Oh, great prediction. I preemptively bought a bottle of Martinelli's. I'm going to, because I'm going to open it up, because I've been giving the Crockpot L to the Cincinnati Bengals, this season already, and I've been talking about it, and I have the Crockpot here ready to go. The Crockpot here is ready to go. The L is still there from last time that I cooked up.
That was the first Crockpot L.
This was the first Crockpot L, the original Crockpot L. I had to add the final score to the bottom of it. That's a crazy final score. I know that it is triggering to Bengals fans, but at least this time I bought some Martinelli's for you guys, so to enjoy the L that you're about to get. I do have a 32-27 final. They have the over under 47 points. I'm definitely taking the over. It's just going to be a high scoring. Yeah, I'm smashing that button. It's going to be the over. But yes, Ali, you got to get to your podcast. Thank you so much for hopping on with us tonight. It's been so much fun.
Hey, anytime. Yeah. I love it. You guys are awesome. You guys are doing a great job. I love checking you out. So anytime.
Absolutely.
Heck
absolutely.
Yeah. That was a great. I'm still kind of salty Deshaun Watson didn't have 250 yards last game because I had that bet. So everything hit.
You did.
Everything hit except Deshaun Watson hitting that. I could have won $2,000 off a $10 bet, man. All right. I'm gonna end it on that. I'm gonna start crying on there. All right, go Browns.
Go Browns.